Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. There is a bright smile on my face because we are speaking about the U.S. Embassy's Fulbright Foreign Students Program and the 2025 scholarship where applications are now open. Now, joining us in studio this morning, no stranger to the Now Morning Show, Eli Levine, U.S. Embassy Assistant and Public Affairs Officer, and Dr. Helen Cumberbatch, Fulbright alumna and VP, Vice President of the Student Affairs at COSTAT. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you both doing this morning?
Great. It's great to be back.
It's excellent to have you back and really looking forward to this conversation. And Dr. Cumberbatch, hearing about your fantastic experience as well. So let's get straight into it. Eli, what is the Fulbright Scholarship Program about?
Yeah, the Fulbright Foreign Student Program is an opportunity, a scholarship opportunity that we offer through the U.S. Embassy for Trinbagonian students to pursue an advanced degree in the United States, typically meaning a master's or PhD. So selected candidates travel to the United States, attend a college or university to really hone their craft and get expertise in the specific area. Then they return back to Trinidad and Tobago to work for at least 2 years. So in essence, the Fulbright program is really about building mutual understanding between the United States and Trinidad and Tobago, and then investing in Trinidad and Tobago's future. So we're equipping tomorrow's leaders with the skills and expertise they need to be effective change makers, just like Helen.
Definitely, and we need to get into that in a short bit. But I'll tell you what, before we get into that, Eli, who can apply for this?
So the application is currently open. It closes on May 10th.
Okay.
Eligibility is you have to be a legal permanent resident or citizen of Trinidad and Tobago and have completed an undergraduate degree already. So this is really for people looking to pursue advanced degrees. And so that's really most of the eligibility requirements, but there's no age limit. And so we encourage people who are really interested in pursuing that advanced degree and looking to hone their craft, we really encourage them to apply.
Absolutely excellent. Now let's go to you, Dr. Cumberbatch. Welcome to the show again.
Thank you.
Now let's speak about your experience. First of all, why did you apply for this scholarship when you did?
Why did I apply? So the Fulbright scholarship really was not on my radar. It's highly competitive, and I had no plans of applying. My then president is a Fulbright alumna, and she recommended the program. I gave it some thought, and I knew that I would benefit in terms of the wealth of experience to be gained. I'm a student affairs professional. I had been practicing in the field for maybe 6 years at the time. And I thought that being exposed to the program, I did the doctoral program on the Fulbright scholarship, would equip me with the competence, with the knowledge, with a better understanding of the student affairs profession. That was my desire, my interest, to know more so that I could come back to my institution, contribute in a different way, transform student affairs, transform the experience for our students. But I needed to get that training, I needed to get that experience. And so I thought I would give it a shot.
And what was the process like for you?
It was an intense process, and because I took quite some time to make up my mind, I applied pretty late. The Fulbright program does provide you with an advisor who works with you throughout the process. And so you would start, before even applying, you start looking at universities that you might be interested in. You want to ensure that you have some sense of where you might want to go, even if you don't end up going to one of those institutions, but have some sense of what you want to study, what your research interest is. You probably may end up researching something else, but you must have some plan. Why are you applying for this program? How would it benefit Trinidad when you return? Just to give it some thought, not that you have to be very intense, but at least have some idea of why you're applying. Your statement of purpose is critical. That's a document that speaks to the why, that talks about your research interest, how you're going to come back and contribute, whether it's to national development or what have you. And so that is something that you want to spend some time working on, so that it's not just some casual, you know, you want to be intentional with your statement of purpose. And so I would recommend really setting aside some time to work on that, reaching out to your references. It's critical that you choose wisely the persons that would serve as your references for the universities that you will be applying to. Stay in touch with them, ensure that they're on top of the application process, meeting their deadlines, etc. So it's pretty intense, as I said, preparing for the graduate entrance exam if it's required for the university that you'll be attending. But the advisor is there with you, taking you throughout the process, you know, guiding you throughout. So it's a tedious process to some extent, but you just have to schedule, just plan and spend some time working on it.
Something that, of course, is basically essential for life. You schedule, you plan, and you have the discipline that you need.
Correct.
Now, something you mentioned, of course, is returning to Trinidad. That was a focus as to what you're going to contribute. And you would have mentioned, Eli, that you come back to Trinidad and you work for 2 years.
Exactly.
This is a prerequisite.
Yes. So the idea being that this is really an investment in Trinidad and Tobago. So you gain the expertise from your master's or PhD program like Helen did, and then you come back and you use those skills here in Trinidad and Tobago for at least 2 years.
Okay, excellent. And contributes, of course, to society. Yes. So let's go back to your experience, Dr. Cumberbatch. What was it like studying in the United States? And do you think that going through that experience, with the life experience you already had, which would have made a marked impact on it itself, has assisted you in really coming back and being a big contributor to society?
Yes. I had to extricate myself from my comfort zone.
Yeah.
To go to the U.S. I had a comfortable life, and so it was a decision that did not come easily. But getting into the U.S., there were some changes, cultural differences. I was in a predominantly white institution in a predominantly white town, but the experience for me was rich. It was rewarding. I grew a lot. I increased in terms of my intercultural competence, understanding of diversity. I definitely had a greater appreciation for my privilege as a Trinidadian, right. Getting insight into the experiences of others. I was there with my daughter, so we were at the university together. She also enrolled, and so that was interesting. We were the only Trinidadians on campus for a couple of years, and then one other Trinidadian joined us.
Interesting. So you said a couple of years. So how long does this program run for?
So it depends on how long your degree lasts, right? So typically what will happen is, if you're pursuing a master's, it might be 2 years, it might be 1 year. If you're looking to do a PhD, typically you'll go get the master's first and then stay on for the PhD program after. And so that's sort of something that we figure out after that happens. But Helen hit on a really important point that I just want to reemphasize about the mutual understanding aspect. A lot of the times people, will think, this is an opportunity for me to get an advanced degree, which it obviously is. But also Helen was able to contribute to her campus community in a really impactful way. She was probably the first Trini that a lot of these people had met. Certainly someone from a background that not a lot of people in her campus community had known. And so she was really able to support her campus and her university by attending as well. So it's really a two-way exchange in that regard.
Excellent. I mean, this is so much to take in, I think, this morning. Especially, I know you're watching right now and you're thinking, wait, so anything is possible. And you are living proof of this today. Tell us something. What would you say was your greatest benefit being a Fulbright scholar?
I feel as though definitely my knowledge base has expanded significantly. My perspective has broadened on a lot of critical areas. But if I speak in terms of my professional growth, I was able to come back and make a different type of contribution than I would have been able to make before. So I returned to COSTAT. I left as a director. I returned and just about a year and a half ago, I was appointed as Vice President Student Affairs. But I worked in Student Affairs while in Ohio. I studied at Ohio University. And so I got first-hand experience of Student Affairs in the North American context in a different structure and an institution that was established in 1804 and COSTAT was established in 2000. So I got that rich history of Student Affairs and I was able to come back and apply. So we're now effecting some change within the division, trying to implement some of what I learned while there. I was able to develop a framework that we're now applying within this local context. It was extremely rewarding, very, very beneficial. And it's just about taking the learning on board, using the experience, for the intended purpose, making the most of it, enjoying yourself while you're there, as Eli would say, sharing a bit of your Trini culture, but certainly making the most of it.
Definitely. Now, Eli, you've been on the show before, and one of the things that we definitely see a key focus on when it comes to the embassy is continuing to build a relationship between Trinidad and Tobago and the US, but also the cultural exchange. So tell us a little bit from your experience when it comes to the Fulbright Scholarship. Have you seen that continue to thrive out of this program?
Yeah, so one of my favorite things about Fulbright is the way that we look for students who are looking to pursue something and looking to be cultural ambassadors for Trinidad and Tobago. So we've sent people on scholarships to the United States to study steel pan production and composition. We have people come back and contribute in really meaningful ways in that regard and build relationships with people in the United States. A lot of our Fulbright alumni are in academia now and have come back to Trinidad and Tobago with existing relationships relationships with American higher education institutions and are able to leverage those to, increase research opportunities, increase exchange, and continue to work together. And so Fulbright is a really special way for us to do that. We actually look for that in our applications. Do you want to be a cultural ambassador? How are you going to share what it means to be Trinidadian or Trimbagonian, and what does that mean to you?
Absolutely excellent, and a wonderful requirement for many who may be watching right now as well. Can you just remind us where we can get more information?
Yes, so at our website, tt.usembassy.gov, you can find more information also on our social media sites. We'll be having a Facebook Live this Thursday at 3:30 p.m. where you can ask more information. We can talk a little bit more about what the application process looks like. As Helen had mentioned, there's a statement of purpose, a research objective, letters of recommendation. We do interviews over the summer, and then once you're selected as a finalist, then we really work with you to apply. So we'll go into depth on those sorts of things. If you have any specific questions, we'll also answer those.
It seems like quite a rapid progression, because you said interviews over the summer, then you decide, and when the semester starts, when in September or January?
So essentially how it works is you submit your application by May 10th with all of those all that information you can find on our website. We do conduct interviews over the summer, select finalists, and then you're partnered with an advisor in the United States. So in the fall, you start working with that advisor to take those standardized tests if you need to, figure out what programs you're really interested in, and then apply. So in the fall, you'll start applying for the following fall. So it's a year out. And so that makes sure that you have enough time to really understand what programs you're looking for and make sure you find the right match.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. One more question. So how many scholarships are given out for this? Is it one, two?
Yeah, this year it's 4. And so actually something that I would love to highlight is we're looking for some of our applicants. So most of them, anyone who's interested in pursuing those advanced degrees in whatever field can apply. However, we're looking for some applicants that are specifically interested in working and teaching at the tertiary level. So part of the Fulbright program, a lot of it is investing in our academic institutions here in Trinidad and Tobago. So people interested in becoming a college professor, working with students and teaching should also really consider applying as well.
Wonderful. Well, excellent. Thank you so much, Eli, for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cumberbatch. It's been a pleasure. I'm looking forward to having you both back on the show soon, because I'm sure, you see, I know there are things that are going to be discussed. Speaking about the U.S. Embassy Fulbright Foreign Students Program, scholarship applications are open. Make sure that you check them out. Send them an email at pos-exchange@state.gov, and check out their website as well, tt.embassy.gov/academic-exchanges. We'll be back in a few moments right here on The Now Morning Show. Chandler is up next.